I know I can't have all of the albums covered, so I'm curious, what do you think is the greatest comeback album of all time? For me, it is none other than Drop 19's Hard Light, which came out just a little over a year ago from now. And I've been sitting on that video. I actually did a video talking about how great that album is, and it's the greatest comeback album because it was literally 30 years. So that alone is a very, very tough feat to come back after 30 years and put out something like Hard Light, which I think is amazing. Other great albums, or what really started this comeback trend to me, or for me, was Swerve Driver and Failure, which was nearly a decade ago now. This was in 2015, so with it almost being 2025, nearly a decade ago, Swerve Driver came back after a 17-year silence with I Wasn't Born to Lose You. And then roughly 3 months later, Failure came back with their follow-up after Fantastic Planet, which was The Heart is a Monster. No pun intended, but it is a fantastic album. Both of these albums were great comebacks, and they were so long. I mean, to be gone for basically close to 2 decades and come back with this music when people think that your best days are behind you, I think is quite an accomplishment because this is some of their best material, of course. Like I said, there's probably other bands that I'm missing out on, but I feel like right now something really special is happening with music. I feel like a lot of artists, they're really putting their effort in and they're getting this thing back that I used to always talk about whenever we would discuss, like I'd have discussions with friends and we would talk about, oh, I remember when this band used to put, they put out this album and the way they sounded live and the way they did this, that, and the other. Bands, when they were first starting out, they had this desire to not only create music, but they were trying to be cutting edge. They were working so hard to innovate. I refer to that as hunger. Amongst a small group of friends, we often talk about this term. You don't hear this a lot about a lot of other bands, but that hunger is what made those bands great and what made them special and what brought them to like massive heights. But then once they were fed and all their bills were getting paid, it seemed like a lot of that innovation, a lot of that hunger just went out the window and they would just put out whatever. And this has happened to countless bands. I mean, just about any band you listen to, that happens because the record labels would get involved and they try to tell you and they control you. I know this for a fact that they do this. I know this from experience. They get involved, they try to tell you what they think you need to do to continue with the success that you're having and to get even bigger. But many times that backfires and it ends up causing a lot of bands to implode. Well, lately, I feel like a lot of bands are aware of this because of the demise of the modern day recording industry, or the demise of the recording industry that we had that started to really lose its grip in the late early 2000s, if that makes any sense. So definitely by 2015, a lot of these bands created their own labels. They just got control of the rights to their music and how they wanted to release it and how they wanted it to sound. And fortunately, with all of that, the hunger came back. And with the latest Cure album is just unbelievable. It is amazing. The bass play, like everything on it is great. Like everything they're doing, it's one of the best Cure albums ever. They don't need to be hungry, but they are, and they're hungry to innovate. So after 16 years, we get this amazing album from The Cure, who are like, if I haven't said it enough on this channel, I know I've already posted a video talking about The Cure. They are a huge inspiration to me, not only as for listening to music, but as a songwriter. If it weren't for Robert Smith, I would never have been able to write and complete my first song from start to finish. Like it would never have happened. I would never have been able to make it happen. Thanks to Robert Smith and the inspiration that I get from The Cure, I was able to accomplish that and many other songs. But that was the beginning for me. Like once I decided, okay, I'm going to break past this obstacle, this barrier that holds me back and keeps me from being able to write a song from start to finish without getting completely frustrated and just throwing in the towel because it's not going the way I want it. I subconsciously looked to The Cure to get through that song. And because of that, it's a little derivative of The Cure, but still, it got done. And for that, I am forever grateful to The Cure and Robert Smith. And I'm so appreciative of this new album. I just think it's something that should be celebrated because it shows that people still have that hunger. I remember seeing an interview with Billy Corgan, and he was talking about how there's no excuse for these great bands or these songwriters to be writing lousy songs. If they were once innovative, they should still be innovating regardless of their age. This new album from The Cure is total and complete proof of that. So, with that album, still 16 years, 17 years for Swerve Driver, and it was 18 years for Failure to come back with The Heart is a Monster. Hard Light is unbelievable from Drop 19's 30 years. And I was fortunate enough to catch their fourth gig in 30 years that they had played. And they were super tight and they were just great. They were killing it. It was an awesome show. So anyway, I just wanted to say that really quick. I just think right now things are a little bit off in the world today. People are worrying about things that, quite frankly, I don't think we should be worried about. Not trying to get into any kind of conversation about those things. That's why I'm not going to point out exactly what I'm talking about. But these are things that I'm not surprised by. And I just feel like people should just let things be as they are and just keep on living and enjoy music. If you're a music lover and you're here on this channel right now and you're watching this video, you know what I mean. It's like you can turn to your music, the music you love, the music you create, the instruments you love to play, and you can just get lost in that stuff and just forget about all that crap because it's gonna end at some point. All that stuff is going to pass. All things must pass, right? And with that said, I just want to endorse these albums that I mentioned here. And if you guys, once again, if there are any great comeback albums that you guys can think of that you're excited about, that you want me to check out or you want anyone else in this community to check out, please speak up, mention it here. But right now, what has really pushed me to post this video is that new Cure album because I've been listening to it and it just came right on time. My friend and brother Brian told me Cure's new album is out. It's amazing. You need to give it a listen. And it was the perfect day. It was a nice rainy, cloudy day. I only like to listen to The Cure when the weather is gloomy. I know, call it cliche, but that's how I am. I'm that way about a lot of bands. Like I have my bands that I like to listen to when the weather is, for most people, gloomy, but I really like that kind of weather. So I tend to listen to bands like Joy Division, The Cure. The list goes on. Certain cult albums I think are great during overcast days and stormy weather. There's so many more that I can talk about, but I've said enough. And I really hope you agree with me that it's a great album. And I will see you in the next video. Thanks for watching.